Okay, it's the top of the hour, so I want to jump in and get started right away. If we don't know each other yet, my name is Dr. Shannon Irvin, and I help 6, 7, and 8-figure entrepreneurs learn how to flip on the success switch in their brain to finally stop being chained back by beliefs that are held them captive from their success for too long, and truly build a success pathway in their mind so that those things don't stop them any longer. Truly uncovering the pieces that the top 3% use to scale their businesses so you can too. Today's workshop is all around being unfocused to unleash. We're going to dive into how to uncover the niche and what's blocking it and getting in the way, really comparing and contrasting the top 3% and how they do these things, how we do these things compared to potentially what you are. So as we're getting started, this is going to be extremely interactive. The reality is, when I interview top 7 and 8-figure entrepreneurs on my Epic Success podcast, I know for myself and my business and all of my friends, they're at that level. When we talk about what it is that makes the biggest difference between being successful, like if you ask, and like I do on the podcast, what is the one thing that's made you the most successful? The one thing that everyone, without doubt, it's not strategy, it's not funnels, it's not new tactics, it's none of that. It's they trained their thinking to think like the person who is successful. That's what the 5-part video series is going to show you to do step by step by step. But what I wanted to do ahead of time is give you some stepping stones to start the process. So literally, I'm going to be hanging out with you for the next 30 days, and we are going to be diving in. This is step 1. We're going to go from unfocused to unleashed. And then next week, one more workshop where we're diving in and we're just going after that imposter syndrome and how you really get known and discovered in your niche. That is going to be from unknown to unleashed. And then we have one all around money mindset coming up. Don't worry, I'll give all these links to you at the end, so you don't need to write anything down now. So I am seeing all your messages in here, and here, since realizing money isn't a bad thing and I shouldn't feel guilty about wanting it. Yes, amen. And we need to make sure your brain believes that too, right? Not just because we say it, we start to believe it, but we really need to hardwire that, flip that success switch on. So we're going to dive into that today. I appreciate each and every one of you being here. I am going to share my screen and get back to these slides. So bear with me for a second. It'll get messy. There it goes. So this is what we're doing today. I want to dive right in. I will be talking to you throughout this workshop. So please talk back. Otherwise, I will be talking about generalities instead of you, and I want this to serve you deeply. So here is what we're doing today. We are really diving into how to gain massive clarity so you can uncover your niche. I'm not telling you to nail your niche. I am not telling you to find the details and the strategies for your niche. We're going to help you uncover that niche today, without the perfectionism and comparison that keeps us stuck. And hint, hint, this is what the top 3% use, which is what I had shared with you earlier. I want to know if perfectionism and comparison are two things, either or, that have stopped you from playing big in your marketplace, in stepping out and putting yourself out there, putting your thing out there in a big, bad, don't care what anybody says way. They both do. Michelle, I hear you. And it did me too. And we're going to talk about that. But we're going to talk about, again, I'm going to keep pointing back to the video series, because that's where we're going to literally show you how to neutralize and erase those from your brain for good, so they no longer hold you back. Because here's what I know about you. You've got your foot on the gas. I don't doubt it for a second. We're a lot alike. I bet that's the case. And so you're doing all the right things. You're following the steps. You probably got all the courses, all of those things, right? Me too. But yet you have this invisible switch not turned on yet. And that means you have your foot on the brake without your permission, without your knowledge. And it's why you're spinning in circles and you can't quite seem to get there. And if you've ever muttered the words, I just wish I understood the secret that they have. And I'm curious in the chat, have you ever said that to yourself? Just let me get that secret and then I'll know. If that's something that you have said to yourself, then it's not what you think. but it is 100% going to be revealed to you, certainly through the video series in depth. And we're going to do the tip of the iceberg here today. So that's what we're going to do today. This is the promise of today, to gain that massive clarity so you can start to uncover your niche without the perfectionism and comparison that keeps you thinking, who am I? There's too much competition. What am I going to do? I'm not sure. How do I be found? All those things. So we're diving into that. And really my overarching goal of this 30 days together, culminating with a video series, is all around how to go from that hustling, struggling, burned out solo entrepreneur, doing all the things yourself, wearing all the hats, feeling like you are in constant go mode, thinking if I just work harder, it'll finally happen, to help you go from that to the true mindset of an unleashed entrepreneur who has time to spend with your family, freedom to go the places that you want to go, massive impact in the marketplace. And we're going to do this by training your brain. We're going to do this by showing you how to flip on that invisible success switch in your mind and neutralizing and erasing these blocks that we're talking about today. So Susie says, I know a lot about something I'm not trained in, 9 years of personal experience. So not confident to help others. Yes, that's what I want to help you slay, because the reality is people don't necessarily need experts, but we've convinced ourselves that's the case. So we'll go through that today. So this is my goal. Who is up for having this be the goal for this? To go from hustling, struggling, overwhelmed, burnt out solo entrepreneur to the unleashed entrepreneur, because that's what I want to hear. If you're on board, because that's where we're headed. That's where this train is going over the next 30 days. And I want you on this train with me. So that is my goal. And again, this workshop, all you're going to get at the end in terms of offers is an offer for another free workshop and an offer for the video series. So you can relax, but here is what I want you to know. I want you to have a piece of paper. This isn't just Dr. Shannon talks and you learn. This is let's go, let's apply this, let's make this happen. So look, if you don't have paper and pen in front of you right now, I want you to just get up. I'll wait a second. I'll pause here at the screen. And I want to see, I'm ready in the comments when you have your pen and you have your paper and you have everything else turned off, because this is a workshop, y'all. We're going to go for it. We're going. I am jazzed today because there's nothing that lights me up more than helping you as an entrepreneur unleash yourself. Stop being chained back by these invisible chains that have kept your foot on the brake for far too long, keeping you from that big vision, mission, and calling that you know you're meant to do in the world. Don't get me on my soapbox. I will go, I tell you. Okay, so today you will learn. These are the things we are diving into today. How successful entrepreneurs ended these things. How have they ended perfectionism and procrastination? Some of the things we talked about earlier. You're going to learn how to gain the mental clarity to finally uncover your niche. I keep saying uncover your niche for a reason. We're going to dive into these industry norms that you might have bought into. I know I sure did. That makes you think this is the way to get success. But really, what are the things that they truly use? And that's what we're going to dive in today. In the chat, say yes if you want to learn and take away these 3 things today. I am grabbing my coffee because I'm going to keep going. Thank you for interacting and being with me, because I light up when I get to serve specific entrepreneurs that are on mission, on vision, and are just tired of the overwhelm, want the secrets, sick of feeling those things, ready. So that's what we're doing. That's what we're going to be doing for the next month. Make sure, if you are not yet, get into the Unleashed Entrepreneur Facebook group, because that is where a lot of that, we're doing so much more in there. And literally I have a pathway. We're going to take you from this training to the Unknown to Unleashed training, to the Unprofitable to Unleashed training, which are all mini workshops heading into this big 5-part video series where you're truly going to learn all of the secrets to snap that invisible chain and truly flip on that brain success switch. So what makes this difference? I think you've probably already heard the language difference, and it's this. I am not going to break down the 10 strategies to nailing your niche. I am not going to give you all these good visualizations to try to eliminate the things that have been blocking you. Those are Band-Aids. Those are temporary solutions to a brain-based problem. And I'm going to dive into why I know the brain science of success, but I can tell you this is source-based shifting. This is building the entrepreneur mindset like a top 3% entrepreneur that doesn't struggle, hustle, and overwhelm, but literally has the free time to be able to do the things that you got into business for to begin with. So what makes this different is a little bit about who I am and what I'm bringing to the table here. I have been a business strategist for the last 14 years to 6, 7, and 8-figure entrepreneurs. And what makes me different and what is going to be a different shift for you is I am a neuropsychologist. And what that means is I studied the brain science of success by accident. I will share that story briefly. I'm not going to spend 20 minutes telling you my personal story, but I need you to understand that I was the person that wasn't the smart enough person that wanted to get a degree in neuropsychology, a PhD. I was the person that was struggling so much that I leaned into the brain science of what makes those people who weren't struggling different. And I'll talk about that in a second. I'm also an entrepreneur, and I have been since I was 19 years old, owned my first restaurants when I was in my early 20s. I have been an entrepreneur for a very long time. I was the entrepreneur in those PhD rooms. Trust me, they couldn't wait to get me out of that room because I was the one looking at how to connect all these dots for an entrepreneur to be able to truly tap into what we call neuroplasticity, which is removing those things that are blocking you. And no, neuroplasticity meaning build the success switch, and pruning, synaptic pruning that eliminates those pathways that are holding you back. And once they graduated me, they were so happy. They're like, get out of here. But that's the success switch method that I'm bringing to my entrepreneurs today that have helped them break through to 6, 7, and 8-figure businesses on to doing amazing things. And I also am the founder of Mosaic Vision for the last 15 years. It's a nonprofit that helps AIDS orphans in Uganda. And giving back is a big important thing for me, helping those who don't have the privilege that we do so that they can lean into their biggest and best vision and be what God's created them to be. So that we've been doing for 15 years. And that is a little bit about who I am and why I am coming here to you today. Because I have done a lot of things right. I have built all of those things that I just shared with you, right? I've done a lot of things right. I've owned a lot of businesses, but I've also done a lot of things wrong. Everything that I asked you if you were feeling, I've been there. I've been in the place where I thought money doesn't grow on trees, that I had to work hard for my money, and I was struggling and hustling, and I thought the secrets lied outside of myself. And it was for 14 years, this is what I did finally figured out through trial and error, through that neuropsychology degree, practicing on myself, neurohacking myself, and then bringing that forward to my clients and seeing their massive breakthroughs. I've discovered this. I discovered that you can train your brain to be successful. Did you know that? Did you know there's an invisible switch in your brain? You can literally train it to create success for you. Did you know that? Let me know in the chat. Did you know that that was available to you? Most people don't. Most people do not know that. And it's invisible, right? Nothing that I believe it, did not know it. Love it, Michelle. So most people don't. Most people try. Why? Because what we do is we get indoctrinated into the outside in philosophy of success that keeps the 97% stuck. Let me say that again. We get indoctrinated to the outside in strategy that we learn from school. Raise your hand and get permission. No wonder we're looking for validation from outside in, right? Get the grades, A, B, C, D, E, F, or no E, but F. I'm waiting for somebody else to tell me my value. This is an outside in approach. No wonder as entrepreneurs, we are having a struggle showing up and waiting for people to validate that we're enough, waiting for people to say that we're good enough to be there, waiting for people to give permission for us to be known in our niche, all of those things. It's because when we were younger, our brains wired, our brain is a beautiful thing. I'm not going to go super deep in this. This video series will go deeper, but our brain is wired not to make us successful, but to keep us safe and familiar, aligned with the stories that are already on autopilot running 90% of your decisions. I'll say that again. We know from neuroscience that 90% of every decision you make, which creates the actions you take, which creates the results that you get, 90% of those are coming from the automated, subconscious programming that is wired to keep you safe and familiar and aligned with that. Now, that is really great news once you've flipped on your success switch in your brain. That is great news once you've primed the vision and some of the things that we're talking about within the success switch method that the video series will break down for you. But if you have been on autopilot, like most people have, all the no's and said, I didn't understand this, I did not know this. The reality is there are stories in there about success, about money, about failure, about worth. And those stories were from youth, from childhood or young adulthood, and you didn't choose them, and it's not your fault. And you can absolutely neutralize and erase them. Get clarity, we call clarify within the success switch method, to literally train a vision into your brain so that your brain sees it as already done, and then automate it so that your brain actually creates that success for you. We're going to dive into that in the video series, but today we're going to get to the tip of the iceberg. So here's what I discovered. You can train your brain to be successful. You can erase these blocks like perfectionism and procrastination. That's called synaptic pruning. And you can use that number one secret, training the brain, training your thinking, that all top 3% do use to nail your niche. And I discovered this the hard way. I discovered this in the moment that should have been the best moment of my life, when I learned 13 years ago that I was pregnant with my son. I had both my nonprofit and my business running, and I found out that I was pregnant, and I just started believing that I had to give something up. There's not possibly enough of me to go around. I had what you called stress success. Anybody here have a level of success, maybe a little bit of traction, but it's so stressful, even though people think maybe you're doing well, on the inside, you know, there's just no more of you, no more time, no more energy, no more to give. If that's you, then we could be brother or sister, because that is so stressful and not what I wanted, right? I wanted to be there for my kids' football games. I wanted to be there. I wanted to be a mom more than anything. And the Cliff Notes version, I actually had a thought for a moment. What if I went and mentored with somebody that had everything I wanted? I bet I'd find out that it's a farce. That's how bad off I was, you guys. But then I started working with this person, $50K a year. Started working with this person, and she put her family first. She owned multiple businesses. She had what looked like the life, and I assumed I would find out it was a farce, or that she had a team of thousands. So no wonder. What I found out was it had nothing to do with any of that. Everything that I saw on the outside was truly there. She thought differently than I did. She thought differently about money, about failure, about success, and about her worth. And that was what created this obsession about what made her think differently. And that led me to the brain science. And maybe there's just something about her brain that's different. Guess what? Spoiler alert. There's nothing different between your brain and the brain of that top 7 or 8 figure entrepreneur that you look up to. Nothing. The difference is how you train that thinking to work for you and no longer advocate for it working against you. We call this the success switch method, and we teach you how to flip that on in the video series. I discovered it the hard way, but you get to cheat a little bit and learn it the easy way. Now, this is the hard way. So when I show you these, if this is me, you know, head down trying. So tell me if this has been ever in your existence. Most entrepreneurs, I know this was me, try to work harder and hustle more and spend more time to, here's the quote, deserve the success. Anyone? Most entrepreneurs think that clarity, what's my niche, comes from outside of myself with a new process or something to discover or something that somebody else has to tell me, has to give me that permission to say that it's yes and it's all right. And most go, and I know that was, all of these were me. Most go from course to course, strategy to strategy, to look for the answers and uncovering the niche and the right path to create success, hoping and praying that that next thing is going to be the thing that makes it happen. Okay. Triple yes. It was a triple yes for me. And the reason why I'm spending some time here is I want you to get a mirror. I want a mirror going for you, okay? So that you can really start to see, first of all, that this is not your fault. You did not choose this. This is completely shiftable. And but you got to know where you're starting from as a mirror to what the top 3% do. Okay. This outside approach, this outside in approach does not work. And here's how I know this, and you know it too, because if it did, then those courses and strategies and all that clarity, you would already have it. You would already be massively successful, because I know you've done all the things. I know you've taken all the steps. I know you've taken all the courses. I know that because I know you're driven and I know you want your mission and vision to get out there. And so if it worked, then everybody who did that would be successful 100% of the time. So why is it that Amy Porterfield can do a webinar and do multiple 7 figures with one webinar, but we still struggle to create a webinar that converts? Why is it that Russell Brunson's one funnel away from an $8 billion business, yet we have funnels and those funnels aren't converting? It's not the outside in approach. I think you guys are getting that. So here's how you know if you're in that trap of thinking. So here's just some things that if this is you or it resonates with you, you know that there's a trap story that we need to clear. So you work harder and hustle more than ever and never spend time with those you're doing it all for. Can I get a yes, amen to that? Like, I'm working so hard because I want a better life for my family, but I'm never spending time with my family that I want a better life for, right? So frustrating. Or you try all the new funnels, strategies that the gurus tell you will make you successful because they made them successful, but nothing changes. So I'm just going to click through these, but please say yes if this is hitting home for you. You try to get to the next goals. You use goals, right? And sometimes vision boards, and you just don't see that actually creating the thing you want. Actually creates more of a stressful situation. You do everything you're told to by the experts and you're wondering why nothing works. Maybe you launch over and over again to no improvement in those results. Oh, I was so guilty of this. You tell friends and family that the business is going fine. It's going good. It's going to break any moment now. It's going to happen any second now. Oh boy. Oh boy. Yeah. Can I get a witness there? Sometimes you curl up in a ball and cry. That was my defining moment. Just a little embarrassing, disclosure there. Okay. You feel overwhelmed and you feel like you're missing something successful people have. We talked about it. Like I just know if I got that secret or that missing link that, it would work, right? We just hope that would be the thing. I might arrive one day, Mary. That's so true. Procrastination and self-doubt kick in. You're wearing all the hats and you feel like you're spinning in circles and not moving forward. You've tried the Facebook ads. You've tried the perfect funnel. It all leaves you with those same results as before, maybe a little better, but nothing that's worth writing home about. And sometimes you question, this is a hard one. I know I did, this whole entrepreneur thing. Sometimes you question. So if this is the trap you're in, the great news is the only reason why you're there is because you didn't know automation was running in your brain that was keeping you there. And that's what our video series is all about, breaking you free from this leashed entrepreneur, this hustling solo entrepreneur that's doing all the things, wearing all the hats, having all these traps, and truly flip on that success switch in your brain so that you can move. And I'm going to keep talking about the video series because I don't want you to miss out on that. But this is what we're diving into today. All right. So I'm assuming now you want to know the easy way, right? You want to dive in. So let's dive in. Let's dive in. Like, yes. Okay, we ready? We got the pen ready? Got the pen ready? All right. So we're going to dive in. I call them secrets of the top 3%. And why I say that is because whether they worked through us in our success switch method or they did it differently, they no doubt 100% of them train their brain to transform their business. So these are the 3 secrets that are applicable to our training today. They worked from a brain-based vision. We're going to dive into what these mean. They work from a brain-based vision. Secret number 2 is they remove the roadblocks that are getting in the way of that vision, and they uncover their niche through action. They uncover their niche through action, specific action. And we're going to dive into that today. Okay. So I am going to jump into the secrets one by one, and we're going to do an exercise around them. All right. So secret number 1, we're going to dive right in. You have to work from the vision, a brain-based vision. We're going to define what that is to have the confidence to really start to move the needle. And I know this because tell me in the chat, can you tell me or show me one entrepreneur that you look up to who doesn't have that confidence that their vision is going to happen? So is there a single one that you know that is not confident that their vision is going to pass? None, right? You can't. So why is it that they are able to be so confident and they know without a shadow of a doubt that their vision is going to pass? How is that? Do you think that comes from a strategy or a knowing? So put strategy into a knowing, right? A knowing. So do you think they're so confident because they know their strategy is going to work, or just a knowing, like they know that they know that they know that they know? So the knowing, they believe it before they see it. That's one of my master neuro coaches, Sarah. She's a rock in that. She's like, that's what's got to go on. They know it. So it's the knowing that we're going to be talking about deeply in the video series and how to get to that. They're delusional, Joanne. That's cracking me up. Okay, the good news, this is what we're going to uncover today. So I want to share with you, I'm just breaking down the secrets a little more. You have to remove the blocks from that vision. So like we need to say goodbye to the things we talked about earlier: perfectionism, procrastination, overwhelm, comparison, imposter syndrome. Guess what, you guys? You didn't know this. If you've been hard on yourself, if you've been beating yourself up because you've had these and then you feel like you're not worthy because of this stuff, those are brain-based mechanisms that allow your brain to come back to the story that's automated. So you want this successful business, you have imposter syndrome. The imposter syndrome is telling you you're not enough, you're going to be judged. That story is automated in your subconscious, mostly from youth, young adulthood. And that story, you cannot outperform your subconscious. You've got to flip that switch. So that's when you start to put yourself out there doing actions that are aligning more with this piece right here. Your brain says, hold up, sister. Come on, brother. This is not what you really believe, because what's automated, your brain thinks you believe. And it will go so far as to make you sick before you get on a stage, to not have you play full out, to not have you play big. Perfectionism, procrastination, overwhelm, imposter syndrome, comparison, all of those things are your brain's way to align you back to the subconscious story. But be excited, because that same system, once you train it, works 100% of the time to remove them. And yeah, your brain will be your best friend when we're done with this video series. You're going to be like, I have a superpower on my shoulders I never knew I had. Okay. Coffee has been good to me today. All right. And then secret number 3, we're going to uncover your niche and gain that confidence from actions that align with the vision, from the brain-based vision. So that's the 3 secrets. So let's go into secret number 1. Building that brain-based vision and working from that place. We've got to do that first. The brain actually creates success, not the other way around. We think willpower, working hard, doing all the right things, following all the right steps, all the guides, that creates success. Anybody here learn we got to work hard to be successful? Anybody? Yeah? Okay. Now, I'm not saying hard work isn't a gas pedal action. You know, showing up and doing things can be a gas pedal action, but you can't just have your foot on the gas and the brake and expect to move forward. Your brain actually creates the success. It's got to see it before it believes it. In other words, starting from niche, what's my niche, is backwards to the brain. And that's why you're struggling. Let me say that again. Starting from what is my niche, who do I serve, what's my niche, is backwards to the brain. It's like putting the cart before the horse to your brain. And that creates this dynamic where you're working from a to-do list that's 1,000,000 miles long, that never ends, no matter how much you cross off of it, right? Everyone tells you start from the niche, and everyone tells you to start with goals. That is in direct opposition to the way your brain is wired. And that's why this next 30 days is so important to you to truly become an unleashed entrepreneur. So, and yes, I used to say my to-do list was my love language. So please understand that, and when I am saying those things, I am in the boat with you. But the difference is when I uncovered these secrets of the brain and started to apply it to myself, I literally worked 2 to 3, 4 hours at the most a day, spent tons more time with my family, and my business tripled within 3 months and continue to do that. The clients that I work with, same thing. And that's why I knew I had to bring the Success Switch method to you guys, because you guys have big missions and visions, and most people, 97% of people, don't know this even exists. So you will not struggle with this goal setting stuff from here on out, especially after the video series. All right, let me tell you about Carl. Carl's one of my clients. Oh, I'm so good. So glad, Denise. Carl is one of my clients who may be like you, was already stressed success. We talked about that earlier. He was successful. He had a 6-figure business. Things were going okay. But he knew like there was another gear, like another level. He knew he was playing small. And there was this piece of him that be like, he would go to do the things and then he would just say, I'm doing just fine. I'm just going to go play in my garden. I'm just going to go watch Netflix. I'm just going to go do something else. And literally would be sabotaging the thing that he wanted the most. And when we started working with the Success Switch method with him, it was literally one, and most of the times this is the case. So it's not hundreds of stories that you have programmed in there and you got all this hard work to do, right? It's usually one story from youth that helped you get love and security when you were young. And it just took a lot of different, we call it like, had a lot of different faces and a lot of different tentacles, but the reality is it was that one story. So when we went after that one story with the Success Switch method and helped him clarify, which we're going to dive into today, helped him erase and neutralize, and then helped him automate, his business within 3 weeks hit 7 figures. And since then, because this has been a little bit since I've worked with him, still work with him, but it's been a while, he has sold his one of his businesses for multiple 8 figures. And he's spending most of his time with his family, and he's very, very unleashed. So I wanted to tell you Carl's story, my story, my story, just because like he and I were just like you. Like we want that big thing and something was getting in the way, and this helps unleash it. His brain cleared that, pruned away the things that were holding him back, and his foot got taken off the brake. And that's why his business accelerated the way it did so quickly. So I want you to start with a brain-based vision exercise. So get that pen and paper ready, because what I want you to do is very simple. And it's something most entrepreneurs don't slow down long enough to do. So I want you to, before we start writing, I want you to close your eyes for a second just to get yourself out of your current environment. We're not doing anything woo. We're not doing any meditations. I just need you to close your mind, close your eyes so you can kind of center with yourself. And I want you to imagine that there is a hallway leading to 2 different rooms. There's a room on the right and there's a room on the left. The room on the right is what you are most excited about in the business. Like it's the thing that once it's achieved, you're going to feel like you've totally arrived. Like it's exactly what you want. It helps you get out of bed every single day. This is where I'm going to ask you to just trust what's in there already. And I want you to open your eyes and just start writing down on the paper in front of you, what's in that room? What does that business look like? If we're sitting here with a cup of coffee or whatever your beverage is of choice, 6 months from now, and you've done it. You're like, I broke through. I'm here. Answer these questions. Who's in the room? And what problem did you solve for them? Who's in the room and what problem did you solve for them? What are you doing? How are you spending your time? So take 5 minutes and I want you to just start writing down, not what your mom thinks is good, not what you think, would get you the most followers, but what would just light you up? What would you be talking to everybody about? I get to do this. I get to help these people. I get to help them in this way. I get to do it in this way. What are those things? So start writing those things down. Who lights you up the most? What do you love helping them with? What results are they getting? Who are you spending the most time with? How are your days structured? How are you showing up for those clients? What does that look like? And I want you to even picture yourself like getting out of bed like I did today, just so excited to be able to bring this. Okay, Michelle says she's done one-on-one clients, helping them find a chance to lessen their stress and pain so they can find joy again. Love it. Love it. And what's your day like, Michelle? What's the day like? How are you spending your time? And what's possible for them now that that's the case? This is a mini exercise. I could go super deep, and we will inside the video series. We're going to take this to like a level 10, but I wanted you to get a taste of helping your brain create this vision. Susie says, only 4 hours a day, 3 days a week, and traveling the world with my kids. Oh, yes. Okay, Susie, so when you think about your clients, that room that you walked into, who was there and how were you helping them? That not specifics, just general. Just be general right now. Don't feel like you have to get specific. Just I help, like Michelle said, I help them lessen their stress and pain. Now we can go deeper into that, Michelle, down the road on in what way and how, and that can be strategic. But okay, so Leanne says, I want to help my friends and others around me to discover they're made for so much more in the reality they currently live in. Awesome. My right hand room was a craft room. It was teaching young people to sew and creating crafts. Flora, I love that. Susie says, parents of autistic kids, neuro coaching them. Yes, 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 yes. Love that certification's available, huh? I help clients unlock their mind and overcome fears by coaching them. So fear relief. I love that. Joanne says, my kids and other kids and fellow parents to understand how their children learn. Joan says, Ian says, teenagers feel connected to their journey in life. Obviously, I'm looking down instead of looking up at you. I'm reading for a second here. Let me look at this. Saving money for people in this economic crisis and easing their stress. Oh, that's great. Sif says, new people travel the world. Okay, Susie, got it. You're a student of Julia's. Love it, love it, love it. I'm helping women 40 plus overcome anxiety and fear. Yes. Sarah is finishing up her master neurocoaching certification with us. She's going to help teachers who want to redefine and revolutionize education. I love it. I love it. I love it. I have a big connected world. Love it. Helping my team. So as you're writing this in, and I really hope it's down on paper too. Animals. I love it, Helen. Is it Helen or Helene? Always get worried that I'm not going to say your name right. Chris says, I get to help multiple people recreate the foundations of their lives so they can move from calamity to clarity. Oh my goodness, that's great. And people push me to new levels. Love it. Okay. Lessen my anxiety and stress as it never was before in the past. All right. Make sure these are written down on your piece of paper. Cheryl says, I'm helping pastors' wives as they travel. Love that. So much bondage there. Emma says, many adults and young people and music students in the room. Love that. So you see the room. That's the room you're going to want to continue to go back to. Because here's the thing, you guys, and you might be guilty of this right now. I know I certainly was. Sometimes we're building a business we think we think somebody else will be proud of. We think that is a good thing, but we're not building the business that lights us up. I mean, I want you to picture like getting out of bed with a heck yes. Heck yes, I get to do this. Not I have to, not the to-do list, all those things. I get to do this today. So that room, if we're sitting here and we're toasting over a coffee about the success, who's in that room? Your brain already knew this. You notice I haven't given you, okay, now here's the 5 steps to discovering your niche, but most of you are starting to see this is who I really want to serve. And this is kind of how I want to serve them. We don't need to worry about the exact how for now, but you have a general idea of where you want to move them to. Most of us, okay, homeowners, Michelle, I love that. That's a big, important thing. Most of us don't realize, or we've been taught to look outside of ourselves for the answer to this. But I didn't teach you anything other than to truly allow your brain to show you what you already knew and you already believed in, right? So that is the foundation to start the vision with, because that is what we need to create as a hardwired vision in your mind. So tell me in the comments, what you wrote down on the paper if you didn't comment, or what you wrote here if you did, how successful would you feel if what you wrote down on that piece of paper happened? Okay, Susie says 100% successful. 110% Anna says, I love it. Immensely. Yes, extremely. Okay, so you have now a foundation for your niche. Is it defined to the 10th degree? No. Did you need somebody else other than to tell you how your brain is wired? So that's what we're trying to unpack over this next month, is let you see how you're wired so you can use this gift that is on top of your mind, that is the power to make that come to pass, right? It would make my heart full. I love that, Lisa. So this, you would feel free, right? So right now, that vision is your niche. That vision, the more you focus on it, is going, your brain is going to start solving the problem of the how. Your job becomes letting your brain see that as already done. You would feel so empowered. So let me ask this question. If you 100% were confident this was going to happen, how successful would you be? If you were in 100%, like there was no doubt in your mind that this was coming to pass, how successful would you be? Wildly, yeah, unstoppable, right? So here's the secret that the top 3% use all the time, that most struggling entrepreneurs don't, because it seems like it's easy. So we look for something harder because we got to work hard, right? So our brain says, no, that can't work. All right, so listen. I want to challenge you over this next 30 days. Wake up, and every day, this vision, I want you to speak it out as if it's already happened. Not I'm going to, or I will, but I have a business that does this, as if it's already happened. You're going to see a brain-based vision. It wouldn't be about you anymore. Oh, I love that so much. I love that so much. You don't even know how much your brain loves that. We will unpack that. So this is my challenge to you. And in the Unleashed Entrepreneur group, I just want you to even show up every day and like post that vision. This is what I have created. I have a successful business that helps these people create this transformation, and just show up every day and say it, and watch your brain start the process of automation while we're together over the next 30 days. Secret 1 exercise is done. Are you ready to move on to secret number 2? They're like, that's enough right there. That's enough, right? You're like, good. And anytime you start to doubt, feel funny, like I'm not sure, I want you to close those eyes, walk right back into that room. Walk right back into that room. Yep, right back in that room. And I really want to see you posting this in the Unleashed Entrepreneur group, because it's for your own brain, not for me to see. It's for your own brain. The more you show your brain this is absolutely what you believe, that's how you build it. So that's what we're going to do. Okay, good. We're moving on. All right, secret number 2 is we've got to remove these blocks. We have to remove the blocks, because the news that I have to tell you is this. What I just showed you is a tiny little sliver of what we're going to do in the video series to start to flip on that brain success switch. However, if you have those automated beliefs still there, they are going to keep your foot on the brake, at minimum slowing you down. So I want to move forward on that. So I want to talk about this because these blocks almost made me walk away from my 7-figure business. So I had done some of the work like we talked about today. I started making this progress, but I hadn't leaned into what I call the pruning or the neutralizing and erasing of these beliefs. So I make some progress and I'd go back, and I'd make some progress and I'd go back. And I finally got to a point where I felt like I just felt like I was pushing a boulder uphill. Like there was nothing else I could do. I was doing it all myself. I had a team, but they weren't, I wasn't able to lead them well. And I got to the point where my whole adrenal system started to shut down, and I was making a decision, an either or decision of potentially giving up the business. I'm wondering if you're willing to be vulnerable with me. What are some of the things, thank you, Hazel, what are some of the things that you've told yourself in those moments when things aren't working? What are some of the things that you've told yourself that's made you want to walk away? Yeah. Yeah. Thank you for your vulnerability. I honor that in you. This is the beautiful work that most, just what you're doing right now is a top 3% activity. Your adrenals are a mess. Karen, there's hope, I promise. This is definitely the way. I'm not good enough. I'm not going to read those out loud, but I'm reading them. And I was there. I was there with you. Just knowing it's hard, it's difficult. And what happens is it ends up being this thing where you start doubting yourself, right? You doubt your worth. And if I showed you inside your brain what was going on, you would see that the only thing that's making that happen is there's an automation that's been programmed in there that is on autopilot, and it's firing without your permission. So the things that you've written, and I honor you for writing them, they are the product, or the outcome, or the fruit of what is programmed in there that you didn't. As an adult, you have not given permission to that, and you want it to be gone. And so that's what I want to talk about today. I want to share with you Joy's story. And I don't know, Joy might even be on here, but she is one of our Epic Success Academy, Epic Success students, as well as she's just started doing her neurocoaching certification with us. And she came in, she was like just like we're talking about, had a business, was already launching, was already doing, Sarah's like, she's amazing. She was already doing things. She had what outside in would look as successful. She had 5-figure launches. She was doing fine, but she had this block around spending money. It's the success. It's the flip side of a fear of failure. It's that fear of success, right? So I have to keep it safe. I have to make sure I make safe decisions. I don't want to go beyond the boundaries, because then that could cause failure, and it could be that takes me out, right? It will take me out. It might expose my failure, and I might lose everything. Who's ever had that thought, like I might lose everything, right? But one of the things I never do with my clients is hold space for these beliefs, because I will hold space for the truth of your vision that you just got done creating or started. So Joy was on a call, and we were going back and forth, and she's really doing the work of flipping on the success switch in her brain. And I just challenged her in one area, and she took the challenge, and she, like, the success switch flipped on fully. She doubled down on her ad spend, and she just was within like a 30-day window, launched again and had a multiple 6-figure launch, just shifting the one story. That's how powerful this work is, to be done with these stories that are holding you back. So we're going to do a quick exercise on these beliefs and what's possible. So I want you to make a list right now on your paper of the things that you're currently doing to grow your business. Say 5 things. So take a minute and write the 5 things that you're currently doing to, yeah, she sure is. What are you currently doing right now? 5 things. And when you're done, say done. So I'm writing down that I'm running a podcast, or I'm doing a challenge, or I'm just getting started, but I'm going live, or whatever it is for you. And I said in here on this, we're going to dive deep into this in the video series. And it's great if you're just getting started. If you're just getting started, I'm so excited for you to be learning how to flip this. I used to say, turn on the success switch, and then I would turn like 17 shades of red. I'm like, oh, so now I just call it flipping. So you're going to learn how to flip on the success switch in your brain, and you won't have those years and years of struggle like I did, right? I know I'm turning red thinking about calling it that. So, all right. So we've gotten either the things I'm thinking about doing or the things I'm doing, right? Marketing, watching webinars. Great. That's awesome. Got your 3 can-dos. Good. Now on the other side of your paper, I want you to write down what the top 5 things you see somebody that you're looking up to doing in the niche that you want to help out in. I'm going to give you a couple minutes to write those down. So I want you on the right to write the top 5 things you see the person that you look up to the most doing. How are they spending their front-facing time? What are you seeing them doing? And when you've written that down, let me know, say done. And then why don't you give me a few of those things that they're done. Okay. So what I want you to do is tell me if you see a difference between those 2 lists. And if so, what's the difference? Tell me what's difference between experience, making connections. They're focused on mindset, podcast, showing up. The difference is she's playing big and I'm playing small. They're thinking bigger, listening, tasks versus the way they're showing up. They're doing it already. Consistency and showing up every day. Still in learning mode, not visible yet. So they aren't, right? They're out there, right? Mine things I still need to do and they're already doing them, right? So that's that difference between. So I want to ask you, haven't done podcast or YouTube yet, but they are showing up, leadership, more confidence. So I want you to notice a lot of what everybody is saying aren't to-dos when it's to the person that's where you want to be. It's more about how they're showing up, how consistent they're being, leadership pieces. I'm thinking about those nearby the niche, they're networking invisible, right? They're out there, you're still planning in your head. So I call this outside the box because what's happening is our stories that have kept us leashed back kind of keep us in this small box. And that's where we're operating from. We're looking at what's possible based on the box that we're in. We're in this box and we're saying, I'm here and this is what is possible for me here. And I had you write it out even on a different part of your paper so that you can see, like, you're seeing them. It's a perception. It's a thought. Your thoughts create the emotions, which create the beliefs that you're in the box. So stay with me here because this is kind of the beginning of unleashing those things from your belief system. So your belief is, I'm just getting started. I haven't started this yet. I'm going to do these tasks, right? But when you looked at the person you looked up to, they were more states of being. They show up, they're consistent, they're playing big, those type of things, right? So what is possible for them is not inside your box. Your box, you're looking out of your box at them and you're seeing what they're doing as things, but they're actually states of being. And what I am challenging you with is to come at what you're wanting to do within your niche outside of your box, because what got you into your box, what got you right where you are right now in that box with those stories is not going to be the thing that gets you to that next level that you want to get to. It's outside of your box. So in order to get outside of the box, we need to start thinking differently. So using this mirror technique, I always want you to keep this tool in hand when you are thinking about even what to do during the day. You're starting to look at what is the person, and put it in here. Who is the person that you thought about when you made that list? You know, put who that person is. So it like helps you start to really solidify it. So Sarah says Julia, which is an amazing human being. Like, who is it that you're looking at? So I want you, instead of asking, what should I do today? Brandon, thank you, Nimi. Nicola, I love Nicola. Some great human beings here. But here's the secret. The only difference between your brain and beliefs around what's holding you back versus theirs is they've unchained. They believe differently. They think differently. part of showing your brain how to remove these is to give it a mirror, to start to show it what it is that it means to be not in that place. So what do you think those people that you wrote, what do you think they believe when they show up big, when they're confident? What do you think they're believing in? Yeah. So we're back to the vision. Isn't that interesting? The next level. Yeah. Now in the video series, we're going to go take you through a 4-step mind matrix process to begin the process of literally removing these things that are holding you back. It's a very brain-based process. It's 4 steps. So we'll make sure that you have access to that video series if you haven't already signed up. I wanted to give you this exercise, this mirroring exercise, so that you can start to notice what it is that you think is a success, because your box is telling you you have to play small, but your mirror is showing you how to show up. So the difference is you're going to have to start to understand, what am I telling myself? So here's a great example. A great example would be this. Say I'm looking up to somebody and I see that they show up every day and serve with their whole heart, never thinking about themselves. And I'm not showing up every day, right, to help and serve my people. Well, that action of showing up every day, even when I don't feel like it, even when I don't think I'm enough yet, even in those moments, even though our brain is going to have a toddler temper tantrum, that action is going to help train your brain to start to remove those beliefs. So it isn't a fake it until you make it. It's watching the being and starting to show up in that way, having that mirror on a daily basis. And that's why I want to lead to number 3, uncovering your niche and gaining confidence that aligns from your vision. So it's really that action that we just talked about that allows you to more deeply uncover that niche. And I want to do that with you here. We've done our vision exercise. You've felt what it's like to show up in that room, right? You've also felt what it's like to be in the box or in that room on the left that was kind of keeping you constrained and keeping you held back. And you've mirrored that to somebody you look up to, and somebody that it wasn't their strategy that you really listed. It was the things that they are being, right? And making that list of how are they being? How are they showing up? But what did we say was the key to shifting things? It was taking the action motivated from the vision. So you've got the vision now, you've written it down on a piece of paper. I want you to think of what are some of the actions, and I'm going to tell you these stories of these 2 amazing human beings. Hopefully they're here. David says, I'm actually trying to show up like Jesus, a cosmic being under divine influence. Great. So both Lori and Mickey are 2 of our master certified neuro coaches, and they both were in the exact same boat that you are in right now, wanting to discover your niche, wanting to finally be done with perfectionism and procrastination. Lori kept doing kind of what a lot of you were saying you were doing, trying what she thought would work, trying what everybody was telling her sounded good, but it wasn't the thing that lit her up. And as we moved into defining the vision, almost identical to what we did today, and she started really going in and moving toward that desired vision that her brain already knew, and she started uncovering it and mirroring against other people that she knew how they showed up differently, and started leaning more into showing up in that way. She started to peel back that false vision and truly embrace that brain-based vision, and practiced it and showed up and practiced it and showed up. And Lori is really helping to set free people in the second half of their life into their own businesses. Mickey, on the other hand, the one on my right, it might be your left, but she is, nope, she's on your right too. She helps women who have gone through abusive relationships get set free. She was terrified to put herself out there. She did not feel like she was enough. And lo and behold, as she started really priming that vision in her brain and truly using the mind matrix process to remove those beliefs that were putting her foot on the brake, she started getting her first paying clients. And that's what I want for you as well. They're both doing so well. And this is not, they are in the exact same boat that a lot of you were saying that you were in. So it's really awesome when you start to allow your brain to truly do the work for you instead of that hustling, just work harder and trying to do something different, being in that same box. So let's define this perfect niche, right? You know, does the perfect niche exist? Yes or no in the comments. And if it exists, what do you think this is what I wish we were hanging out in a room and we could be talking back to each other. Susie's like, I'm hedging here. Maybe. Yeah, Sarah. So the perfect niche isn't what you think. It's the room on the right. That perfect niche is the room on the right. That perfect niche is who are the people you light up to help? What is it that you help them with? And then all that defines that niche further is action. It's stepping into the being of the person either that you look up to or the person that you really know is showing up and playing big, and taking those actions every day and getting very, very, very curious about when your brain holds temper tantrums. Now, what do I mean by that? You're going to have this big dream and big belief. Your brain still has a wiring that isn't fully, unwired yet. And so by you taking action, your brain is going to feel resistance. So here's what I'm telling you. You will feel resistance. This is when you will want to walk away. You'll want to play small. But when you take the step of continuing with what you say you're going to do, even though it's uncomfortable, your brain, what if I actually scanned your brain at that time, I would show you that network of belief that is automated, it just got weaker. And if you do it again, it gets weaker again. If you do it again, it gets weaker again. Why? Because from youth, you told it that this is what I believe, but your action is actually showing you the opposite. And now we're going to take it further in the video series, but this is actionable things that you can do right now to get into that perfect niche for you and start to take the action like the person that you want to mirror. Karen says, think fear because they found a niche in the past and did not succeed in it. So I would encourage you to get curious about succeeding in that. What belief was blocking that, right? What belief was blocking that? Because if this is the thing where most go wrong is we work from these goals and these places where it's not your perfect niche, it's a perfect niche that's defined by somebody else. And so you can't show up fully in it. And that's what it is. So I want you to define, as we're wrapping this up, I want you to define the work you've done today with the brain-based vision, and then putting your success sucking stories in the box, but mirroring to somebody who is outside of the box with the actions they're taking. Who is in that room? So this perfect niche. So you're going to write it like that. I help fill in the blank with, you guys did this work already in the room, so this shouldn't be very difficult. I help fill in the blank with what transformation so they can result, desired outcome. So I will practice so you hear mine. I help entrepreneurs train their brain so that they can transform their business. That's my quick one. I help entrepreneurs train their brain and flip on their brain success switch so they can sell out their programs with ease and step into that big vision, mission, and calling. There we go. Yes, of course it is, David. So I help, but I'm wondering, when you're helping animals, are you helping the animal owner at the same time? Because ultimately animals aren't paying the bill. So I would think about that relationship. So what's that? And I'd be glad to work that out with you, but it is the same. So if you're helping animals in a way that's helping produce a result, think about it in a dual way. You're helping the animals get a result. Who's the outcome for, the animal or for the person caring for the animal? Just curious. So we can work on it both directions. I'll have this a lot with people who, I take care of children. Well, obviously children is the niche, but you want to talk about it with the parents as well. So we will work with that. So Jen says, I help millennial women creating their vision so that they can live their life to the fullest. Boom. You have a perfect niche. Now you get to lean into the being of the person that shows up big in that niche. Ian says, I was surprised that teenagers were in the right room for me because I like working with smaller kids and families. I think teens stormed out and the smaller kids came in with their parents, but they aren't in the room. They're outside. So interesting, isn't it? So interesting. I help spiritually curious people identify their hunger for spiritual solutions so they can defeat fear and feel loved and love others. Love it. Love it, John T. Jennifer says, I help employees who have previously had no job skills gain skills and become self-reliant. Boom. See, now this was in you guys. This is what I want you to resonate with as you're writing this. No guru told, I did not create your perfect niche for you. You did. This is where I want you to start to lean in on the trust of what you have to offer in the world. Now, in the Unknown to Unleashed free training, we're going to dive into a little bit of that. How do we take this niche and start to become known and seen and heard? We're going to really dive into imposter syndrome specifically and that comparison. And that's what's coming up. But I want to keep going here. I help parents of autistic children with overwhelm so they can have happy, fun, and contented lives. Oh my goodness. Yes. Love it. Sarah, I help people. Okay. Yours. Understand. I'm reading it. I'm going to read it not out loud because I won't get all that read out loud well. Awesome, Sarah. You're nailing it. I work with rescue animals, Helene says, and help me support children with difficulties and deprived backgrounds. I love it. So you work with rescue animals that support children with difficulties. Love it. And what becomes available for them, for those children once they're working with that animal? Make sure you add the results that they desire so that they feel more freedom, so that they feel great, all those kind of things. All right, so keep going with this. Again, workshop style, I wanted to make sure that you really had it. And I know we went a little bit over, but I just really want to key in on this. It's brain-based, science-backed success switch method that I've used to teach my 6- and 7-figure and 8-figure entrepreneurs how to grow their businesses, how to start from not even knowing your niche to growing in your niche, to becoming known in your niche, to selling out your programs with ease so that you can have the results that you want. Because listen, the outside in method is broken. Now I know it feels too simple to spend time here. It feels like a luxury, but I am telling you, I'll keep telling you, this is going to be like the soapbox that I'm going to hit a bunch. All the interviews, all the research I've done with 6, 7, and 8-figure entrepreneurs. What is the number one key to success? Not strategies. They're saying it's the way they think. That's what they believe about money, about failure, about success, and about their worth. And that is what I'm bringing to you over the next month. We really have discussed this past hour, these brain-based secrets to really step into that top 3% mindset. We talked about how to create a brain-based vision like they have. We talked about how to begin to remove those roadblocks by recognizing, first of all, that I'm even in a box, and recognizing the people that aren't in that box. What are they doing, right? What are they doing? And then how to uncover your niche through action, right? So now that you know, I help this group do this transformation to get this desired outcome, I would love to know, what is it that you're going to go out and your first action with this niche going to be? I want you to tell me in the chat, what is that first action going to be before I move forward? So John T, the box on, or the path on the left is where you're kind of boxed into those limiting beliefs. Make challenging videos. Yes, Nimi, I love it. So I love that because you're leaning into what that unboxed person would do without the stories, and you have clarity around your niche. Declutter Live. I am brain priming and working on who I am. I love that, Carol, so much. Set my launch date. Yes, queen. Yes, queen. Declare it in our master coach group. Love it so much. What is that action take? Because listen, if you leave here with just good information, I've failed you. I don't want you leaving here with good information. I want you moving, taking these baby steps in starting to truly flip on that success switch. Love it. Go live now, Michelle says. I'm going to go fuego. schedule my social media, keep working on my mindset. Awesome. All right. I want to let you know how I want to know this bit of a revelation. I help disengage. Oh, that's great, Ruth. That's wonderful. Love it. I love it. I love it. Has this time been well spent in this time that you put your time aside to truly start to train your brain? Good, good, good. Obviously, I can't cover everything. I want to go for, I'm really trying to keep these to an hour, and obviously I've gone over, and I even talk fast. So I can't cover everything. That's why we have the video series come up. There's 2 ways we can go deeper. So I want to make sure you know what they are. These workshops, they're not going to be replays. So those of you who are here live, you are winning out. We do have 3 of these coming up. There is a link there if you want to get the replays to all 3. This is an offer for you to be able to have this as a resource. Now, if you would, I know it went so fast, didn't it, Sarah? So if you would like to join me on the next masterclass for free and join live, I would like you, if you could put in the link to join the next masterclass. And that's the same link. It's just, so I'm just giving you all the opportunities because I want to take you on this journey. The next one is Unknown to Unleashed. She is going to put the link in here in a second. But if you want to make sure you don't lose access to any of these, you can go to this URL. So that's there for you as well. So there we go. And then the big thing that I've been talking about the whole time, save the date when the Unleashed Entrepreneur video series will be there ready for you. I think the trailer drops a few days before. So just get on the wait list so that you don't miss out on these videos. They're 100% free, and we are diving into all the details around the success switch method and how to flip on that success switch to go from that hustling solo entrepreneur to that unleashed entrepreneur. So that is what I have for you today. Thank you for being here with me live. Love it. And if you're not in the Unleashed group, get in there because we're doing lots of great mindset training and all leading up to this big video series. So I look forward to seeing you. I hope this served you deeply. That is my #1 intention for this training. And I will see you inside the Unleashed Entrepreneur Facebook group. Thank you so much for being here. I appreciate you. And of course, I'm going to challenge you because our brain loves rewards. Jump into the group. Tell me your biggest takeaway from today. I would really love to see it. And I want to see that niche in there too. All right. Bye for now.